What you are about to hear was never meant for the public. Before the story begins, make sure you stay until the very end, because the final moment of that recording left an entire production crew frozen in silence, and it may completely change how fans see the connection between Dylan Wang and Shinyu forever. A routine filming day had begun like every other day on a busy drama set. The lights were bright. Cameras were being adjusted. Assistants moved quickly across the studio floor carrying scripts and equipment while directors discussed the next scene in quiet but focused tones. For the crew, it was another long day of work in the unpredictable world of television production. But hidden among the layers of cables and microphones clipped to costumes was a small device that no one realized was still active. One microphone had not been switched off, and that tiny technical mistake would soon capture something no one expected. The day's filming schedule included a quiet emotional scene. It was supposed to be simple. Two actors standing close to each other exchanging dialogue written carefully by scriptwriters. The cameras would roll. The lines would be delivered. The director would call cut, and the production would move forward like any other professional set. But what happened next did not follow the script. After rehearsing the scene several times, the director called for a short break so lighting adjustments could be made. Crew members stepped away to reposition equipment.
Camera operators checked angles.
Some actors walked toward the refreshment table while assistants discussed the upcoming shot. During this small pause, most of the microphones should have been muted. That is standard procedure during breaks, so that unnecessary audio does not get recorded. But one microphone remained live. The microphone clipped near Dylan Wang's collar continued to transmit every sound around him into the recording system in the audio control booth. Inside that booth, a technician casually monitored the feed while waiting for filming to resume. At first, the audio was ordinary. Footsteps across the set floor. Crew members talking quietly. Someone adjusting a light stand. Nothing unusual. Then a voice appeared in the recording.
It was Dylan Wang.
His voice sounded quieter than usual, as if he believed no one was listening. The tone was not the confident voice fans often hear during interviews or press events. It sounded more personal, more uncertain. At first, the technician did not pay much attention. Actors often speak casually during breaks. But then another voice entered the recording. It was Shen Yue. She had walked back toward the set to review part of the script with Dylan while the crew prepared the next shot. Their footsteps could be heard approaching each other. Paper shifted softly as the script pages moved between their hands. What happened next stunned the technician listening in the audio booth. The conversation started normally. They discussed the upcoming scene. Dylan mentioned that the dialogue felt slightly different from the rehearsal version earlier that morning. Shinyu responded with a gentle laugh and suggested the director probably wanted a more emotional delivery. But then the conversation changed. There was a moment of silence between them that lasted just long enough to feel noticeable. Then Dylan spoke again.
His voice was softer now.
Almost hesitant. He said that sometimes acting emotional scenes felt strange when they were surrounded by cameras and dozens of people watching every movement. He said that even though he had filmed many dramatic scenes over the years, there were moments when the lines felt too close to real feelings. Shinyu listened quietly. The microphone captured the faint sound of her shifting the script pages in her hands. Then Dylan said something that made the technician in the booth sit upright. He said that when he filmed scenes with Shinyu, it was different. He explained that the emotions felt real in a way that surprised him every time. He said that even when they were simply rehearsing lines, he sometimes forgot that the cameras were there. There was another short silence. Then his voice became slightly unsteady as he spoke again. He admitted that the reason those scenes felt different was because his feelings were real too. In the control booth, the technician stared at the recording meters rising and falling with every word. The moment felt too personal to be something captured accidentally by production equipment. But the microphone continued recording. Dylan continued speaking quietly, as if he was revealing something he had kept hidden for a long time. He told Shinyu that the years since they first worked together had changed many things in his life. Fame had grown. Schedules had become chaotic. New projects appeared constantly. But there was one thing he said had never changed. His feelings whenever he worked with her. He explained that every time they stood together on a set, it felt familiar in a way that made the work easier and the emotions more honest. He said that sometimes he wondered if the audience noticed that difference too. Shinyu did not interrupt him. The only sound recorded by the microphone was the quiet rustling of her sleeve as she shifted her weight slightly. Then Dylan said something that the technician later described as the moment the entire atmosphere in the control room changed. He said that he had tried many times to treat their partnership like any professional acting collaboration, but he could never fully separate his real feelings from the performances they created together. The confession hung in the air between them. For several seconds, neither of them spoke. On the recording, the silence felt almost louder than the conversation itself. Finally, Shen Yue spoke softly. Her voice carried a calm warmth that contrasted with the nervous energy in Dylan's earlier words. She said that acting had always been about truth for her, and that sometimes the strongest performances came from emotions actors could not easily explain. The technician listening to the audio feed realized that what was unfolding in those quiet seconds was something far more personal than a rehearsal conversation. And yet the microphone continued recording every moment. Dylan laughed quietly then. Not the confident laugh he often showed during interviews, but a softer sound that suggested relief after saying something difficult. He told Shinyu that he had not planned to say those words. He had simply been thinking about the scene they were about to film and the emotions it required. Shinyu responded gently that sometimes the most honest words appear unexpectedly. Just then, footsteps approached across the set floor. A crew member called out that filming would resume in 2 minutes. The moment between them began to dissolve as professional responsibilities returned. But before the conversation ended, Dylan spoke one more time. He said that regardless of what the future held for their careers, he wanted her to know that the connection they shared on screen had always meant more to him than just another acting role. Then the sound of chairs moving and crew members returning filled the audio feed. The quiet moment between them disappeared into the noise of production activity. In the control booth, the technician finally muted the microphone, but the recording had already been captured. And when the story of that hidden microphone began circulating within the industry days later, the reaction was immediate and intense. Some insiders questioned whether such a private conversation should ever be discussed publicly. Others believed it revealed a level of emotional honesty rarely seen behind the carefully controlled world of celebrity image. Fans across the world soon began debating what the confession truly meant. Was it simply a moment of vulnerability between two longtime colleagues, or something deeper that neither of them had publicly acknowledged before? The truth behind that quiet conversation may never be fully explained. But one thing became certain the moment those words were heard. Sometimes the most powerful moments in entertainment history are not the ones written in scripts or performed in front of cameras. They are the unexpected seconds when real emotion slips through the carefully constructed world of performance and reminds everyone watching that behind the characters and the fame there are still human hearts trying to understand feelings that no script could ever fully capture. And if you want to know what happened after the crew discovered the recording and how producers reacted when they realized what had been captured, stay with us, because the next chapter of this story reveals the moment that turned a quiet confession into one of the most talked about industry mysteries of the year.